to another segment of Secrets of the Pros. I want to shout out to all the fans. Thank you for always hitting me up. Remember, you can go to my website, pristineproductions.webstar.com. Click Shop Now. Get the latest in soca rhythms, dancehall, Afro beats, trap beats. If you want me to make some massive for you, hit me up on my website. I want to shout out to all the subscribers. Keep sharing that page. Hit me up. Check out my new videos on scoring with suspense for film. Check out my videos on dancehall, reggae, soca. Today we're going to be talking about a very special segment here, which we're going to talk about using chord track mixing here in Studio One. This has been a requested a segment from a fan. So I'm going to show you how you can use a chord track to change around audio within the audio file stem itself and MIDI loops, including my loops right here. So let me get right down into it here. Here is my rhythm that I composed. I'm going to bring it back here. Okay, simple soca rhythm here. So let's get right down into it. So I'm going to talk about the chord track here in Studio One, a feature that has been asked about. So what can chord track do? The chord track is simply rearranging the chords and allowing your instruments to follow it. It'd be MIDI or wave. So I'm going to jump right into that. So here is the stems here. For example, let's say you bought one of my stems and you wanted to rearrange using a chord track here. Maybe you don't know how to play, but you know what keys go together. Well, this is a tutorial for you, so let's get into it here. So I'm going to start off with the synthesizer here that I have. I'm going to play the pluck synth here. So what you want to do, you want to go up here and go and select the chord track. There's a little icon here, a little music note. I'm going to open chord track here. Now, there's a couple of things you need to understand as well. I'm going to get into it real quickly. We have a what you call, this right here will be the chord track, as you saw in the artwork earlier. So we're going to be inputting keys here. And this little click button here, this little button that says follow, is to enable whether it's a MIDI instrument or an instrument in wave file to follow the chord. Pretty simple here. So to set this up with this particular pluck that is playing this here, which I believe is in the A major, we're going to change that. So let's go ahead and this is the MIDI track as well. This is coming from the workstation here. This is the MIDI. So I'm going to go on, click on the instrument here. You want to go on Inspector if you don't have it. This is a little I here. You want to click on Inspector or F4. And we want to go down to follow chords. If you're not seeing that, you can go ahead. Maybe you might have to drag it down here until you reveal that stuff. There's a couple of stuff down here too. You can do to transpose the actual MIDI, but now we'll get into that. We're going to get into the follow. So we're going to click right here on this drop down menu here, and we have parallel, narrow, and bass. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on parallel here for the Dune, which is going to follow the chords here. And let me bring this down a little bit here. And this is going to enable the instrument to follow the chords, connect the VST with our chord track here. So how do you know? How do we know what chord is? Well, I just mentioned it's A major here. But if you're not sure, we can always do an extract or detect chords, which I'm going to show you in the second segment in the same video here. So I'm playing A major here. So I'm going to change this to a minor key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click. Or what you can do, you can drag your MIDI file here into that. And if I double click on this, it's telling me, apparently it's telling me it's D major, but it's actually A major. But we can select what we want. Let's say we want to go in. Well, let's try the same D major that it's in there. I'm gonna enlarge in the. It's a D sustain. It's telling me here. So I'm gonna expand that, and I'm gonna click on the follow. And you notice when I click that button, there's the same little music note appears here in the MIDI block here, telling us that Studio One has connected the chord follow option to your instrument here. So if I play this here, I'm gonna change a chord here. I'm gonna show you the version how I do it, but we're gonna experiment here a little bit. I'm gonna double click and let's try a D minor here. See if that's gonna shift things up here. I'm getting a slight. Let's take off the sustain. We're just gonna go on D minor here. Regular chords. Okay, there you can hear. Now, in order for the chord track to affect the instrument here, you got to make sure you drag it out, because let's say if it's here and we play it, although it's followed, it's not going to switch to that chord unless it's lined up with the actual chord block here. I'm play it again. There you can hear that D minor there. But so let's input my own here. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna go to A minor. I'm gonna select minor chord, root A, and let's play that. There you can hear that A minor. And then I can trim this area here. Make sure your snap is on. And I'm going to add another track here. I'm going to call it E minor. I'm going to go to my EM here for E minor here. So when it switches, it's going to go A minor, E minor. Let's go ahead and do that. So here we can hear E minor, E minor. Now let's say we wanted the E minor to come in right above it. I can drag that there. Here we go. And let's go ahead and I'm going to shave off. I'm going to shave off the N here. And I want to repeat that performance here. Let's go A minor, E minor. Notice it goes back to the A major when it comes out of the block. So I'm gonna hold down the Alt button, and I'm gonna drag over to the right the A minor here. I'm gonna get that A minor back. And this is non-destructive, guys. So here I can see a clear picture of my chord track here. I can even take it here, and I can adjust. I can make the selections here on the corresponding chords. And I can double click from there and make the adjustment there. So I have A minor, E minor. If I turn that off, notice the icon down here in the blocks has disappeared. Now it goes back to the A major. If I click follow, it goes ahead and create. Now down here we have the M1 bass that is playing the A major. Let's say we wanted to follow this arrangement as well. So it's going to be simple. We go down to follow chords. I'm going to turn on a parallel here. And there you can see the icon lines up. And I'm going to play it now. There the bass switches to that A minor and E minor chord. And we can do that with any other MIDI instrument. So that's a great tool to use there. So let's say we didn't have access to the MIDI files here for this time. Let's say we're just working with the audio files. So that's no problem. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to deactivate the Dune 3 here. I have a copy of the Doom in just WAV file now. So let me get to that. Now, I'm going to leave on the same follow here because we want the instrument to follow. So here we got a couple more options here. If I click on the Doom file here, which is playing the same A major chord, let's go ahead now and enable the follow chords. So here I'm going to go and follow chords. And here we have a little bit more, a different setting here. In the MIDI, we have the parallel, narrow, and bass. In the audio section here, we have a little bit more option here. So we can pick parallel, narrow, which is different an algorithm, so how 2D1 translate. But we want to go on universal. If I go on parallel, take a look down here. There's nothing happening. Bass is nothing happening. If I go on universal, you're gonna there you see the icon lights up on the audio track itself, which is now telling Studio One to let the chord change that I have here affect the audio track of this instrument here. And we have another section here, tune mode. We can use it, choose bass, guitar, lead. This is more like a piano sound. So I'm gonna go on piano, or I can choose guitar. Now I'm gonna play this back here. You can hear that that A minor key, that E minor key, and back to the A minor, along with the bass. So let's go ahead and do that. And once it comes out of these the block arrangement here of the chord track, it's gonna go back to that A major, both for the bass and the piano, the Doom synthesizer. So there you have it, guys. So if we turn off follow, remember it's going to go back to normal here. The bass is keeping that one A major root key there. If we turn on the follow, it's going to engage the chord track here, which the A minor is going to follow the E minor. Check it out. Bass is going to change as well. Different song within the chord track. Back to normal. Back to the A there. So we can actually have like a version of our arrangement here, along and compare that with our original arrangement. So and you can lengthen how long you want the chord E minor to stretch, where you want it to change. Very snappy. We can go in the I can double click on the wave here, and you can see that's engaged there as well, the chord track there. So very, very helpful tools, guys. Guys and girls. And now I'm going to show you another trick here. If I right click and go to audio, here we can extract to chord track. We can extract the original keys that we have in the wave here to the chord track here. Let's click on that, and you can see Studio One does its thing, and it brings up the A major key there. I'm gonna undo that, and you can do it that way. You can also go on detect chord. So it's gonna detect. I'm gonna click that real quick, and there you see the A minor, the F minor, A minor, D over A. Sometimes it might not be accurate, but as long as you know what's going on with the chords, you shouldn't have any problems with that. I'm gonna undo that as well. I'm just showing you the different options we have here, and we can apply chords from the chord track to this wave file here. So it's going to take the A minor, E minor, and A minor to the wave file itself. Let's go ahead and do that. Apply chords from chord track. There you can see the A minor. If I can zoom in a little bit more, I can zoom in, and you can see A minor, E minor, A minor. So I'm going to play that. Let's turn off the follow here. and see if it's going to stay in the WAV file. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to turn on the follow back. Let's play that again. Let's double click here. Now, since we've inputted the chords, this has opened up that option, that shortcut. See if I click here on A minor, I can double click from there, and this is another shortcut how you can quickly access the keys. The A minor here, I can go here. I can select another chord here for this WAV file here. So this is like a different, easier access when you input these. It's reflecting these on here. You know, hope that makes sense. And that's how you use the chord track to create your own arrangement there. So just to keynote to follow up again, if you want to do it with the MIDI track here, just to summarize here what we've been doing with the chord track, I want to enable back this here. We go on the MIDI track itself with the VST here. For example, I'm using the actual Dune, and I go on, we set the mode to parallel. We have narrow bass if it's a bass instrument, narrow to a more narrow kind of setting, but parallel is the more default one. And we enable follow on the chord track, else this is going to be blank, you know. And we can either drag or file from the MIDI track here. We can drag it up here, and it's gonna introduce the MIDI to the chord track. We can start to do some adjustments there, or we can input our own chord track by just double clicking, and we can we can choose whatever minor or major chords we want. Sustain power chords. For rock guitar, when you use power chords, if you're using a guitar, and we can also adjust the block how it performs. So if the block is shortened during that performance, the A minor might switch. It's going to switch to the E minor here, and you can move it around and totally, undestructive here. It's not permanently messing up the WAV file here. We can just turn it off and it goes back to normal, which is pretty cool for Studio One. And on the flip side, if we wanted to do that with just the WAV files and the stems, remember the option is going to be changing here. From MIDI, we only have parallel, narrow, and bass. For WAV files, if we go and follow chords, we have universal, scale, bass, narrow, and parallel. None of these other options has affected the WAV file. Only the universal has enabled Studio One to work its magic and actually turn this chord performance into what we're putting up here with the chord track. I believe probably the people that made Studio One know that for musicians and producers that share a lot of stems that other mixing engineers are mixing it, most of the time the stems is going to come in the WAV files. You know, besides the MIDI VST information, we're going to be dealing with waves, so I believe that's probably the reason why they added these more options as universal here. And on top of that, if we right-click on the WAV file itself, we can apply the chords from the chord track, so we can have that shortcut of adjusting the waves and different keys there. You know, we double-click into that, and once we apply that, then we double-click. We can see the different chords that is happening there. So it's pretty non-destructive. Excuse me for saying it's non-destructive. So you have control over that, and we can apply that to any VST instrument here and a WAV file, which is pretty cool, guys. So Studio One is awesome. So I wanted to leave that with you all. I hope you understand what I was talking about. Let me know if you have any other questions and what you want me to talk about the video on. This is the first one I did with this feature of chord track. I'm a professional musician here and producer, so I don't necessarily use this chord track ever. You know, I understand it, I know how to use it, but I like to work old school because I know the chords. You know, but this is a great feature for those of you who really don't know how to. You know what A minor is and E minor and that stuff, but you don't really know how to play it on the MIDI board. Then you can use this awesome option and tool to let these stuff play and create your music. So I'm going to catch you guys on the next one.